everybody, Master Max here, welcome to another video. Orcs Must Die 3 is the game that I very enjoy, very much, but by no means I am pro at it, cause my strategies varies from being okay to being straight up bad sometimes, but that does not stop me from having fun either way. In this kind of games I really enjoy a little challenge, but the most of all, I'm loving randomness. That's why I fell off with Scramble mode, which at this point I have a 31 million score record, which I plan to beat by the way, so stay tuned. A link to a video where I explain my strategies is in the description if anyone is interested in that. But let's go back to the topic of this video. Like I said, I love randomness. The fact that the game just gives you stuff and tells you go and use this shit is very enjoyable, but Scramble by itself was not enough for me. I needed some more challenge. So because I like make myself suffer, I created a randomizer scramble. And let me explain that idea. I'm putting every variable in the hands of fate, luck, whatever you want to call it. Not only do I pick random maps, buffs and debuffs like in normal scramble, I also pick random traps, weapons, trinkets and their upgrades. So basically what that means is, if my luck would be non-existent, I will go into the scramble with nothing that can kill flyers, for example, which by the way that happened once, or just 6 trinkets and 4 melee weapons with no upgrades. So yeah, that can happen. Basically anything can happen. I tried my first and the second Randomizer Scramble on stream and both I lost in the worst scenario. After that I tried 4 more times off stream and I still wasn't able to finish one scramble. So then I asked a lot more professional Orcs Must Die player than me, of course I mean Motoman Dan, on his stream what he thought about all these randomizers.
50% of your loadout without any upgrades. I mean, listen man, you did yourself thing. That was such a good loadout, I'll make some changes because it's too much for my skill level, I think. That sounds like too much for anybody's skill level. You know?
Also, he was on my first stream when I started this randomizer thing, and he told me that I randomized too much, which is fair. So I started to think, was that too much? Is it not beatable? I've decided to have one more try, and this is what happened. I started of course by rolling my loadout. I rolled 10 items and then rolled the upgrades for them. After that we roll our hero and then the map. So this is what the Fate equipped us with. We got Grinder with slow and full cooldown upgrades, which was fine, but I ended up not using this trap at all, so that's wasted. Wall Blades with max damage and even more damage to stun enemies. Briar Patch with lower cost and reduced damage growth, which was the best trap I could ask for, maybe except barricades. Elven Short Swords with attack speed and secondary damage. Tar with the best possible upgrades, of course.
That's the best Tar in town.
Lasers with reduced cost and fire damage. Carapace with reduced damage to player, which was a good combo with Short Swords, which we'll see later. Arcade Dragons with bounce only. Decoy with bleeds to attackers and no HP upgrades, yikes. And last but not least we got Archers, but with only fire damage.
That's not that great, but I'll take it.
And we got Igen as our hero, which is one of the 2 best options, so I was feeling really good about this. I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty stacked and nice loadout, which most of you would say it's easy and I should have no problem with that. Well, keep in mind that I don't think well under pressure. I don't perform well under pressure whatsoever, and I'm not a pro in this game whatsoever. So I hope I don't tilt you that much in this video. So let's start this. The first map we got was the first map of the new DLC called Sandstone Shelter, with the possibility to reroll Zalzador. But at the moment, my beautiful mind was thinking that it wasn't that hard, so I kept him. And trust me, that will bite me in the ass later. Just stay tuned. Keep in mind, when I roll maps and I got the reroll option on them, I can use them only on the tier that I got it. It does not work forward or backwards. So this means that Zalzador is staying with us for the whole fucking game. On first map, I had some problems with guess who? Then he was very tanky and I forgot for some reason that Egan has double jump that stuns enemies. I ended up losing some rift points which could have been easily avoided if I was using my brain. The combo with swords and carapace was really good and was one of my saving graces in this scramble. I wanted to have some fun with this new briar trap, which could have been devastating if I did not have any decoys or archers to keep enemies in place for it to grow, but the archers saved the day as always. So I got through the first map with 22 rift points gone, which like I said could have been easily avoided if I was using Egan's ability as well as some maybe fast decoys and maybe even Tar instead of trying so hard to make the briar work. But okay, we're moving on. For the first buff choices we had half cooldown for carapace, more damage with ranged weapons, which I had none, and the best possible one, AoE damage around me. Luckily we got the AoE damage, but this is where my luck took a vacation and stopped working for some reasons, which you'll see later. So, the next map selection was Sludge Elves with Dynamite Archers, which I hate those fucking pieces of shit, as well as Oasis with immunity to ice, which we have none, so that's fine. We got the Oasis with no reload, which is okay, but here's the kicker. The map has flying units, and half of them are immune to fire damage, the only consistent damage type I'm able to deal from a distance. But I had no choice, so let's start this. First 4 waves were not a problem at all due to me destroying everything at close range, but my archers helped me from distance, but wave 5 was the flyers wave, and I had some trouble here. I was trying to use dragons, but they did not hit anything no matter where I placed them, and even if they did hit, they were not able to do enough damage to actually help me. So the only thing I could do is to snipe with my secondary attack from swords, any fire flyers, and hope that archers can help me with the rest. I really did my best here, but this wave cost me 2 rift points. Next 2 waves I lost another 6 points to flyers, but we got through and we're moving on. And since my luck left me last buff selection, this buff was absolutely useless. So moving to the map selection for war scenarios, there was no good option here. The desert wall was simply too big for me to handle with only melee weapons, with no Kates and with flyers on the last 2 waves. A mage tower had 2 separate lanes for the whole map up until the rift. We got mage towers with Tautars every wave, which was the lesser evil I guess. So I was fine with that, but then I started panicking when I remembered that mage towers is the war scenario that introduces you to the fire immune enemies, which covered the most of enemy pool in this map. And guess what is my best and most reliable damage source right now? Yes, it's fire. Okay, this map is horrible, but I'm thankful, cause it woke me up, it really did. Made me see why Egan is one of the best champions out there and why spamming decoys and even archers was OP. The first wave was a total massacre, in which I lost 19 burst points. The second wave was even worse. Do you remember what I said about the Zalzador at the beginning? Yeah, see for yourself. Hello, the future Damien here. I'm just trying to clarify something real quick. Do you see this? Yeah, I forgot to mention that my swords were bugging out every now and then and I could not attack with them, and I needed to change them from something else back and forth until they're working again. This cost me maybe 2 to 5 rift points for this whole game, so that wasn't that big of a deal, but I want to mention it for clarification. Okay, let's go back to the video. Yeah, I lost another 20 rift points on this wave. But the next wave, I started to play like a true veteran, which means I just spammed everything. I just spammed everything that I could, everything that could give me those few seconds that I needed to get from one lane to another and clean up the enemies. Changing this strat saved me for sure. So after spamming every trap that I could, everywhere that I could, I was able to finish this map with 30 rift points remaining. And yeah, Mongrel was not a problem at all. So what great buff do we get this time? Yeah, let's just go to another map. I want to clarify that from this point onward, all the maps are on a lift road difficulty, which means it's time to get kicked in the throat, especially that we got close quarters with more mana cost of weapons, which meant the next flyer map will be on death for sure. But my brain was working again. I've had some good decisions, spamming Brawler, archers, wall slicers in the corners, and even decoys next to them, some lasers at the gates. I was really doing well. Until the wave 3 where both gates opened at the same time. That was just too much for me to handle, and I lost another 19 rift points, which left me with only 11. I was slowly accepting my defeat, but then my brain got uber charged with strategies, numbers and ideas, so I spammed even more archers and even more lasers and more decoys and more decoys and more archers and even more archers and even more stuff. And then I was able to win with 11 rift points left. My brain was overloaded, my head and hands covered in sweat. I begged the universe to give me something, to give me anything that could have used for the next map, something that I actually can use for my advantage, something that could actually help me complete this challenge. And at this very moment, universe responded. We got 20 rift points, baby! Which means that the universe is giving me a chance to live. It is giving me a chance to complete this challenge. So my heart was full of hope again, and I went to see a map selection. Yes. I got fucked again. But that wasn't the time to surrender. I needed to persevere. So I rolled the dice one last time. Okay, Coastal Highways, that's not that bad. With... what the hell? No matter if I win or lose here, this was a lot of fun. So let's start this last map. For the first wave, I went with the strat to build around the entrances with Briar and some lasers, but that proved to be quite useless idea on this map, since I don't have anything but myself, of course, to stun enemies, to keep them in place without wasting a lot of money. I could not build around the gates. That would be just impossible to handle. You see, the problem in this map were not the sappers or gnolls or even the dynamite archers. The main problem was the sheer amount of enemies. On Rift Lord, we got everybody up in this bitch. We've got Earth Lords, Fire Lords, Mountain Trolls, Armored Ogres, and remember that guy I said at the beginning he wasn't a problem? Yeah, this fucker is still here too. So after the second wave, I decided to just bunker up and hold the rift at all costs. I placed archers on every single tile that I could. I placed them with every single coin that I have. I spammed Briar wall blades on corners and decoys to take some fire away from archers for them to deal more damage. Every wave we were bleeding, but we had to stand our ground. At wave 6, enemies were coming from every single gate at the same time. And at that wave, I felt the full strength of my enemies. I started to bleed even more, losing point after point. We got hands down destroyed on this wave, but we had to stand fast, stand strong, and stand together. Everything around me was either on fire or dying by my swords. That was a total bloodbath. Enemies coming from every single side, from everywhere. They were just spawning out of ass. But we have the power, we have to live through it. At the last wave, with only 13 rift points remaining, I spent all my money, all the archers, all the decoys that I could. We did our best, losing rift points, but giving them hell. If we lose here, we lose fighting. And just like that, I finished the challenge with only 7 rift points left. Fuck me. 6th try. 6th fucking try. Oh my god. That was amazing. That was amazing, challenging, and the bullshit was also very present. And I know a lot of you could have done this a lot better, and I respect it, I really do, but I'm happy with what I accomplished here. And most importantly, I had a lot of fun. If you'd like to see me do it again, consider leaving a like or even subscribing, or maybe even come and say hi on livestream. I stream on every Monday, Wednesday and Friday on Twitch as well as on YouTube, so maybe see you there. But for now, thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you for watching, and as always remember, loot first and questions later. Bye.